Hello and welcome to In Pursuit Of. Today's guest is Mr. Sanjeev Jha, who is the head of Sustainability and CSR at JK Lakshmi Cement Limited. We will continue our conversation. Welcome back, Mr. Jha.
Thank you.
How do you measure success in CSR beyond, compliance and reporting?
Since I'm an insider, the CSR law came into 2013-14. And at that
Before
point of
that,
time,
you were on ground.
And we had started in Rajasthan, this Sirohi district, 2004 Mother and Child Healthcare Program. So that is there. But what I'm trying to highlight, that CSR itself had changed from 2014 to 2025, as we are talking now. And I have seen in last 10 to 15 years, the philanthropic approach earlier being adopted is paving way for more impact-centric CSR programs inside the corporates also. And boards are only talking in terms of impacts. Since it is impact, then you need to have well-designed, well-articulated, where the key results areas are defined. And this is happening now. Most of the companies now you will find, particularly in the health, education, skilling, most of the corporates are doing excellent work. Coming back to JK Lakshmi Cement, the impact that we are measuring is one is that, okay, fine, different programs, what are the key result areas that we go and report back to the board. But since our board is almost 15% gender diverse, so they specifically require what is in every program, what is the impact that we are creating for women and the girls.
Right.
So then we also track impact on the basis of gender diversity.
Right.
We also, our board is very specific in terms of reaching out to disadvantaged and vulnerable communities.
Right. We
also, tracking our impacts basis the vulnerable community. So you would be surprised to know that in our 3.25 lakhs year to year, the people that we are impacting, every year, almost between 65 to 67% are the vulnerable communities, and we have developed a checklist of vulnerable communities. So, for example, that includes scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, BPL families, single mother. So, we have defined a checklist of vulnerable communities, and we report to the board how much percentage that comprises of the total beneficiaries.
Sure.
So these are some of the the way that we are reporting, and then each project will have, so for example, if it is a health program, how we are reducing the infant mortality. If it is employability, how many students have been placed, how many of them are still in the industry after 1 year, what is the income that has gone up. So each program will have very specific indicators for the impact measurement.
So in regions where infrastructure and education gaps exist, what role does your CSR play in systemic transformation?
We do not have large resources available. And in last 10 years, most of the time I have seen in the rural areas also, that even the rural communities or the villages will have good good infrastructure school. So infrastructure wise, in last 10 years, the schools have really come out of phase. The problem is, the learning level. So what essentially we are doing in our programs, that couple of programs we are running. One is basically to focus on learning level improvement. And as a part of learning level improvement, we are doing number of programs on, the coaching, mentoring, career counseling programs we are doing, because that is one of the issue, because the children or the kids in 9th, 10th, they do not have, clarity, what is it that I need to go up or go through or go forward. So we have a very comprehensive, each student psychometric analysis based JK Lakshmi Vidya career counseling programs. So that we are running across all our locations.
Okay.
And in last 3 years, we have been able to reach out more than 8,000 students.
Wow.
And each student undergoing the psychometric test will have 3 career options. And you would be surprised to know that after 10th, almost 43% of them who had been assessed at class 9 had exactly opted for, out of those 3, one option. So this program has become very, very effective. Second key area we have identified is basically the financial problems. So we have a JK Lakshmi Vidya scholarship programs. So every year, approximately 400-500 students starting from class 10th to higher education, we are extending them a scholarship support. And this is basically particularly to those students basis some eligibility criterion, that let's say if you have taken admission in ITI, Polytechnic, B.Ed, nursing, but I do not have the money. So then we will fund your education for next 3 years. So that is one program. That is another program that we have taken up. Another key program is we have started JK Lakshmi Pro Plus, which is our premium cement, Pro Plus Super 30 coaching programs. So we are targeting, one of the key problem is that in the remote areas, students are not studying math, science and English. The problem is that many a time they do not have the good teachers. And at the family level also, there is no formal reinforcement in terms of math and science. So we are providing selected youths who aspire to go to engineering, medical, or ITI, Polytechnic, or nursing, to come for this program for 3 years.
Right.
And we provide them, help them to improve learnings, and they go for the different processes that are there. So that is another key programs. We are also backing on some of the government good initiatives. So for example, one good initiative is like, let's say Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, and many students in the rural area, they are not aware and they do not qualify, whereas 80% of them, this school is reserved for them only. So we have started Navodaya coaching program for class 5. There is another Prayas school. There is other different Indra schools, or lots of schools, central government sponsored also, and state government sponsored also. So we provide coaching so that you qualify and go and take admission there. And those are free, high quality school education system from class 6 to class 12. So these kind of, having a focus on a student's learning level, we are doing different programs. On case-to-case basis, wherever there is an infrastructure problem, so we build classrooms, girls' toilets, libraries we also build, and we provide the support teachers in the government schools. But those are on the case-to-case basis. But the other programs in terms of learning level improvement are our key anchor projects across all our geographies.
Which states are you in generally?
So we have 7 manufacturing plants, and 2 in Gujarat, 2 in Rajasthan, 1 in Odisha, 1 in Haryana, and 2 in Rajasthan that I mentioned. So these Rajasthan, Gujarat, Odisha, Haryana, these are our key program states wherever we are working. But one of the key priorities for our CSR is also we are doing multiple CSR programs for bottom-up pyramid value chain partners. So these are the masons, petty contractors, civil contractors, like construction laborers. So in our marketing zone, we are doing multiple programs for them. So for example, Vidya scholarship, career counseling, we work for them also, because we very strongly believe, one is that they are our business partners, but they are actually at the bottom of pyramid and they also need these kind of interventions. So we do some projects for them also.
So that also comes under CSR?
Yeah, that comes under CSR, because these are not, one-time market, sales promotion based activities. These are long-term projects which CSR law allow also.
Lovely. So what is your response to all the criticism about CSR just being performative and not really transformative? I mean, of course, you've just told me a wonderful case study and the work that you people are doing, but what would you say to this? Because, and I'm not talking just about JK Lakshmi Cement, but also generally the CSR space. What would you say to that?
I would say it's been a journey and the process. If I look at since last 15 years or 10 years, I'd see lots of changes has happened in this. And already I mentioned that from philanthropic approach, because earlier corporates were also struggling, in terms of understanding the law, then understanding the community. But now I see that most of the companies, the large companies, because I have many friends in different organizations, their focus, whenever I talk, their focus is on impact now. And most of the companies board, they are looking for the impacts. So you take all the big, the companies, they are doing multiple programs and they are using their huge resources, not only to do good CSR programs in their own manufacturing or business areas, but they have gone up to the state level. So, one IT company, they have a very large teachers training programs. Similarly, a very large, business conglomerate in India, they are doing multiple, very large livelihood program, skilling program, livestock development program, agriculture development programs. Education sector has become a large intervention areas, and I have seen that most of the corporates are putting lots of emphasis on IT, computer training, graphics design, helping students for STEM education, all the stuffs like that.
Everybody feels that CSR is just being done for the sake of upar se, but real transformation which we need is not coming from it yet.
As I already mentioned, this will take some time. What is happening that the kind of requirement, the human resource requirement that is currently in the CSR space. Earlier, for example, in the initial days, it was being managed by, the HR people or IR people. Now, if you see, most of the corporates have their CSR team, the foundations. They are taking the professionals.
Right.
So as this sector gets more professionalized, automatically there will be more interaction in terms of, the corporates as well as the social development sector. So that is one that I see going forward, a good sign of change. Second is that the board is also putting for, the impacts. Third is that the regulatory agencies, they are also becoming very particular in terms of what is the impact that you are talking about. And they are also coming with lots of, that you need to go to the aspirational districts, you need to spend CSR money like this, you need to file report to them. So that is also bringing lots of due diligence as well as, discipline into CSR programs. For example, they have defined, the projects. So they are also saying, you define project when you are starting, when it is closing, what are the impacts. So I very strongly believe all these, forces or the changes that are happening in the space. And also then I see that, the technology being used more and more in the CSR space. That is also a new phenomena that I see. And corporates are putting lots of focus on digitalizing the school curriculums. So many of them have adopted the schools. So all of them, definitely, though it will take some time, but I very strongly believe with the kind of focus that currently I see, in the coming days, this sector will be more, transformational rather than being leveled as, only performative. It will definitely go beyond this and become more transformative. And the potential is there. As a professional, I am very optimistic about this, is that corporates have also started understanding the business values or the benefits which CSR is contributing. So as the business leadership will have more and more understanding, appreciation of the kind of, the value that the CSR is creating for the business, it will have more and more, the connect and the interface, and that will have a good, significant impact in terms of building the management capabilities of CSR sector also. I am very sure about that. And this will ultimately result into lots of innovation, technology being used, good human resource being deployed in the CSR sector, and new projects being coming up, which will definitely have lots of impact. So I am very optimistic about that.
I like how hopeful you are and optimistic. There's always this critical view of it. I think we have to find the good in it also, and I think there might be enough outliers also who are, we hear about people laundering money, all of that. So yes. I think somewhere people have become very cynical about it.
Yes.
But you are absolutely right that the minute there are professionals who come into it, it will begin changing. Because it's not like somebody said once, he said earlier it was like a punishment role. Ab nahi hai wo. So now as it begins changing, and when people like you who have worked on ground, who have worked in the community, are now coming into CSR roles, then it also changes the view completely,
yes.
of how to approach CSR. You see, because if somebody who has never worked on ground and is coming into the role is never going to know it enough.
It is difficult then,
right?
And one thing I would like to add, that as a CSR practitioner, it is also our historical responsibility to engage with business leadership and give them good, give them good perspective on that and its potential. Sometimes what happens, in our own comfort, we do not want to, we want to negotiate as a CSR leader as a function, which is okay, fine, I'm sitting in the corporate, I have some NGO partner, I have transferred every responsibility to them, and I'm reporting to the board through PPT, and that's good enough. But your responsibility, it is a very historical juncture. You need to, establish the credentials and significance of this sector for the coming generations and for the business. Ours is a unique country, I'm telling you.
Yes.
And the way, since we are talking about it, we're becoming 4 trillion, 5 trillion. So the money that will be sitting for CSR through this law will be humongous. People like us who actually believe that the social development has to happen there, if we are not able to use that opportunity by liaising, collaborating with the business leadership, probably we'll be losing again on the opportunity. And that would be a very sad story.
Absolutely, you're very right. How do intergenerational perspectives, right, shape CSR priorities in your company? Because I'm sure in a company there are many generations who have worked, and even like the board might be of a certain generation, the middle management maybe, the top management. CSR is thinking from community level. Like how do different generations come together on what is important?
Okay.
Because for each generation, something different was important at the community level.
There is two way of looking at this particular question. I'm giving you one example from my current board and JK organization. So the promoters, they will define some of the interest areas. Okay, fine, we need to work into this. Work on education, health, livelihoods, because they also see that these are the critical areas. So they will give you the thematic areas. Now, what are the specific activities that you will be doing will vary from region to region, and the board will allow you. So one way is to, how are you accommodating your, tailor-made programs connected to a particular geography or particular community into that thematic area and build that program. So that is one. Second is that somebody sitting in the board may have more, affinity to, let's say, a particular group. So women group or gender or tribal group. So that also impacts the decision making. Board, if the new generations, let's say, and somebody is sitting there who believes that, the waste is the climate change or the waste is a major issue that is coming up. But the older people who may have visited, the rural area, he or she feels about education or no, job is, employability is the key, or the water is a major issue. So definitely all these things, have some impact in terms of developing the programs. But mostly what is happening, the corporates are not restricting themselves to one or two programs. So most of them are into integrated development approach, as far as I have seen, many of them. So they are working on education, health, livelihoods, employability, rural development, infrastructure development, waste also. So that is how it gets, this. Sometimes the business decisions also, create some kind of impact. So let's say, for example, if I am an automotive manufacturing company, I would also focus on, safe driving practices as a part of my CSR. So that is also good enough. You focus, apart from other program, you focus on that program also. So all of them will have some impact. But what is the kind of program which is customer-centric is something that is CSR practitioners' responsibility to identify, to do advocacy with the board and the leadership, and then design the program, deliver the program, and create the impact and demonstrate that these programs are working for the local community, and the board would be happy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jha. We will continue our conversation. And while I keep talking to Mr. Jha, do remember to tune back to In Pursuit Of.